Hello students, today we read metals and non-metals, class 10, science chapter 3. In the previous class, we already discussed about the properties of both physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Today we will discuss about how metals and non-metals react each other, how they form bonds. Here we will treat two types of bond, that ionic bond, that is also called electrovalent bond, and covalent bond. When the electrons transfer from one atom to another atom, the bond forms is said to be electrovalent bond or ionic bond. But when the electrons are shared between the atoms, the bond form is called covalent bond. Here we will read about electrovalent bond. Electrovalent bond or ionic bond. When the electrons transfer from atom to another atom, the bond forms is called electrovalent bond. So how the bond forms here? Let's do an example. Right? When magnesium react with chlorine, magnesium and chlorine, how they will form bond? Magnesium has atomic number 12 and chlorine has atomic number 7. The electronic configuration is 2, 8, and the electronic configuration for chlorine is 2, 8, 7. Magnesium try to lose 2 electrons to get enough, whereas chlorine try to gain 1 more electron to be enough. If one chlorine atom gains 1 electron, then this magnesium requires 2 chlorine atoms to donate the valence electron, because they are present 2 valence electrons, so it needs 2 chlorine atoms. Here, in magnesium atom, plus 1 plus 2 electrons becomes magnesium ion, whereas chlorine atom gets 1 electron becomes chlorine ion. So in this way, we can represent it by electron dot structure. These 2 dots stands for the valence electron for magnesium when it combines with chlorine. It combines with 2 chlorine atoms having 7 valence electrons. Each of the valence electron from magnesium will transfer to the another valence electron comes to this chlorine atom. Now this magnesium becomes positive ion because it lost the electron. More positive charge present in the magnesium atom, so it becomes positive ion. Since two electrons are lost, it becomes Mg2 plus. Next, each of the chlorine atom accepts one electron, so it becomes negative ion. This type of two chlorine atoms are there, so it becomes Cl2. Now we got the compound as MgCl2, that is magnesium chloride. So here the substance or the compound which is formed by covalent bond or ionic bond is said to be covalent. This electrovalent bond or ionic bond is said to be electrovalent compound or ionic compound. The compound which is formed by covalent bond is called covalent compound, and the compound which is formed by electrovalent bond is called electrovalent compound. In this case, this MgCl2 is formed by transferring the electron from magnesium to chlorine. So this compound is formed by electrovalent bond. So this magnesium chloride is electrovalent compound or ionic compound. Next we will discuss about the properties of ionic compound. Properties of ionic compound. First, generally ionic compounds are solid and somewhat it is hard because of strong force of attraction between the positive and negative ions. These ionic compounds are formed by the formation of ions, formation of positive and negative ions. Since two opposite charges are there, opposite nature of ions are there, so they will apply attractive force. Due to presence of this strong attractive force between the ions, these are very hard. Next, melting and boiling point of these ionic compounds are generally high. It is the same reason that the strong force of attraction between the positive and negative ions. Next, ionic compounds are generally brittle in nature. It is generally brittle. When we hammer it, then we get powder. And it breaks into pieces when pressure is applied. If we hammer, then it converts into pieces. These are not malleable. Since it has more attractive force, then it needs more amount of heat energy to break the inter-ionic attraction. That's why the melting and boiling point are high. Next one is solubility. These ionic compounds are generally soluble in water, but it is insoluble in organic solvent like kerosene, petrol, diesel, mobile, etc. Ionic compounds are soluble in water or inorganic solvent, whereas it is insoluble in organic solvent. Next, conduction of electricity. The conduction of electricity through a solution involves the movement of charged particles. If the charged particles move through the solvent, then electric current can be conducted. Here, if we make the solution by taking some ionic compounds with water or any inorganic solvent, then this solution of ionic compounds in water contains some ions that helps to conduct electricity. So ionic compounds in the solid state do not conduct electricity, but in its aqueous solution or in molten state it can conduct electricity. Next, we will read about occurrence of metals. Occurrence of metals. The earth crust is the major source of metals. Some seawater also contains some soluble salts like sodium chloride, magnesium chloride, etc. The elements or compounds which occur naturally in earth crust are known as minerals. At some places, minerals contain very high percentage of particular metal and metal that can be profitably extracted from it. That type of mineral is called ores. The substance which can be obtained from earth crust, when some metals are present, that is called minerals, and the minerals from where we get certain metal with low cost. If it is profitable, if it is economic to get certain metal from any mineral, that mineral is said to be ore of that metal. So how to extract the metal? Extraction of metal. Some metals are found in earth crust in the free state, but a number of metals they are found in combined state. The metals at the bottom of activity series are the least reactive. They are often found in free state. For example, gold, silver, platinum and copper. They are found in free state because they are very less reactive. They will not react easily, so they will be found in free state. But copper and silver are also found in combined state as they are sulfide or oxide form. The metals at the top of activity series like potassium, calcium, magnesium and aluminium are so reactive than other metals. They are never found in free state in the earth crust. The metals in middle of the activity series like zinc, iron, lead, etc. are moderately reactive. They are found in earth crust mainly as oxides, sulfides or carbonates. So we will discuss how the metals be extracted from its ore. First, when get ore, when ore is obtained, first we have to concentrate the ore. The first step is the concentration of ore. concentration of in this concentration of ore, that is enrichment of ore. Enrichment of ore will be done by different processes because the ore particles contain some earthen impurities that these are called gangue. Ore mined from earth are usually contaminated with large amount of impurities like soil particles, sand particles, etc. They are called gangue. The impurities must be removed from the ore to extract the metal. The processes used for removing the gangue from the ore are based on differences between the physical or chemical properties of gangue and that of the ore particles. Like if the ore particles are magnetic substances like iron, cobalt or zinc, then we can use magnetic separation. When the powdered ore moves through any, if it is moved through a core and a magnet is there, then when it falls down, then ore particles will be attracted by that magnet and forms a heap, whereas the gangue particles which are lighter, they will flow away and they will make another heap. In this way, we get different heaps for gangue and for ore particles. Next, if the ore particles are slightly heavier than gangue particles, then we can use a stream of water current, that is called hydraulic washing process. When we wash the ore powder in that current of water, then heavier particles, that is the ore particles, will make a heap near this water current, but the earthen impurities which are lighter will carried away by the water current and we get ore particles separately. Next, if it is sulfide ore, then we can follow fourth flotation process. If the ore particles are taken into a tank of containing water, if it is put in that water, after that we put a layer of pine oil over it and we stir by using pump or air, then some force will produce which carry, this force will carry the ore particles from this water and the earthen impurities remains in that water. It's settled at the bottom of water tank. In this way, we can separate ore particles and that of the earthen impurities. Next, after the concentration of ore, we'll observe about the reactivity of the ore or the metal, whether the metal is high reactive or medium reactive or low reactive. After concentration of ore, we get the metal, then we observe the metal of high reactive, then we will follow electrolysis of molten ore to get pure metal. We will follow electrolysis of molten ore, then we get pure metal. this concentration is medium reactive, then we will observe whether it is in carbonate form or in sulfide form. If it is carbonate form or carbonate form, or whether it is sulfide form. We have to convert the carbonate ore into oxide ore and also sulfide ore into oxide ore. If it is present in either carbonate or sulfide, we have to convert that into oxide form. If it comes into oxide form, then it is easy to remove oxygen from that metal to get the certain metal by reduction method. So, if it is carbonate form, then we have to follow calcination. If it is sulfide form, then we have to follow roasting. Calcination or roasting. After this calcination or roasting, we get oxide form. After getting in oxide form, we have to follow reduction method. After reduction, we get the pure metal. After reduction, we get metal which is not pure. Then we will follow purification or refine. After that, we follow purification. Then, if the metal which is obtained by concentration is low reactive, generally it is in sulfide form. That is metal in sulfide form. Then it needs for roasting. Then for metals, and we get some metal and then refine. Static metal low in activity series. How the metals be attracted when it is present in the activity series in the having less, which are less reactive, like mercury. Generate the metals with low reactivity present in sulfide form. When we get sulfide, then we have to heat in presence of oxygen. When this mercury sulfide is heated in presence of oxygen, it gives mercury oxide plus sulfur dioxide. Mercury oxide plus sulfur dioxide. When we heat this mercury oxide again, then we get mercury and oxygen separate. Here, mercury present in liquid state and oxygen in gaseous state. Here, the mercury oxide which is present in the reaction becomes in solid state, and when we heat this solid mercury oxide, we get mercury in liquid state and that oxygen in gaseous form. It happens in low, the metals in low reactivity series. If the metals in middle of the reactivity series, what will happen? Let's discuss. Take zinc. For zinc metal, it is present, let it is present in sulfide. Maybe in sulfide or maybe in carbonate. Zinc sulfide. When we follow roasting for sulfide ore of zinc, we get in we get the zinc in oxide form with sulfur dioxide. That is ZnO plus sulfur dioxide. This zinc oxide is heated again, then or it is reduced by using carbon, pure carbon. Zinc oxide is reduced with pure carbon, that is reduction. Then we get zinc and carbon monoxide. Zinc and carbon monoxide. We'll get the zinc separated from this oxygen. In this way, we get the metal, but here the metal what we are getting here may be in pure form, may not be in pure form. Some other metals may be mixed with the metal what we extracted here from the ore. To get the pure metal, we have to follow refining of that metal, electrolytic refining. By this electrolytic refining, we get the metal in pure form. Next, we'll discuss about corrosion. When a metal is attacked by acid or water, moisture, etc., then the metals be corrode and the process is said to be corrosion. Generally, what we use that iron metal, it will corrode very fast, and it is very reactive. It is reactive for this corrosion. It will corrode when it is exposed in open air, when it comes in contact with moisture or water. So, to prevent the corrosion or the rusting of iron, we follow different methods like oiling, painting, or alloying. It prevents the contact of water with that of the metal. When the metal doesn't contact in water or air, then it will not be corroded. Next method is alloying. When we make an alloy, then property of metal will change. It will not corrode very easily. That's why we make the alloy. Like iron is the most widely used metal, but it is never used in pure state. This is because pure iron is very soft and stretches easily when hot. But if it is mixed with small amount of carbon, generally 0.05% of carbon, it becomes hard and strong. When iron mixed with nickel or chromium, we get stainless steel, which is hard and does not rust easily. Okay, this was present in this chapter, metals and non-metals.